You got the promotion into a leadership role. You put the work in. You earned your seat. And somehow you still end your day replaying a conversation from 10 a.m. Not a crisis, not a major incident, just a comment, a tone in someone's voice, an email that landed wrong and it followed you home. You made dinner and it was still there. You lay down to sleep and you were still in the conversation. Here's what I want you to know. That's not a weakness. That is what happens when you are a high achiever who is never taught the difference between what is yours to carry and what is not. Today, we're going to change that. I'm Dr. Cara, a licensed psychotherapist, executive coach, and the founder of Dr. Cara's Framework for Connected Leadership. For over 25 years, I have worked alongside high-performing leaders in some of the most demanding environments across the world. One of the most common things I hear is this: I know I should let it go. I just don't know how. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that happens, walk you through a 3-step framework that changes it, and give you one practical resource that you can use the very next time something tries to knock you off your leadership game. So let's go. Here's the truth about high achievers. We do not just do our jobs, we absorb them. Consider this, it's Tuesday afternoon, you're in back-to-back meetings, and one of your direct reports pushes back on a decision you made in front of the group. Not aggressively, just resistant. You hold it together, composed, professional. You say what needs to be said, but inside, you're already running the analysis. What does that mean? Are they losing confidence in me? Did I handle that the right way? What are others gonna think? And by 4 o'clock, you're carrying that moment like it has actual weight. Because for high achievers, the weight does not feel optional. It feels like responsibility. And here's where the cost shows up. According to Gallup, research managers account for at least 70% of the variance in employee engagement. 70%. That means how you show up, how regulated or reactive you are, ripples through everything. And when leaders are in a constant state of absorption, running on everyone else's energy, that ripple is not the one we want to send. So here's the question I want you to ask. What if the problem was never about being too sensitive? What if the problem is that no one ever taught you how to discern what is actually yours to hold? I want you to think about your phone for a second. When you get a text message notification, what do? You look at it. You don't ignore it. You don't throw the phone across the room. You check to see what's actually there. Now, here's what I want you to sit with. Our emotions work the exact same way. Frustration after that Tuesday meeting, that's a notification. The anxiety that shows up when your name is left off an email chain, notification. The tightness in your chest when a conversation goes sideways, notification. Your inner world is sending you a message that something needs your attention. And the mistake that most leaders make is one of two things. They either ignore the notification entirely, pushing through, which means the feeling goes unprocessed and shows up later as a reaction they didn't choose, or they open the notification immediately and forward it to everyone in the building. Connected leadership is a third option. You receive the notification, you pause before you respond to it, and then you decide what that actually means and what to do with it. That is the foundation of my receive, perceive, and respond method. And it is the only thing that stands between your nervous system and your leadership. If you're the kind of leader who finds yourself replaying conversations after work or carrying the weight of meetings long after they end, you don't have to keep navigating that alone. The real issue is not that you're too sensitive. Most high performers were never taught how to separate what is actually theirs to carry from what belongs to someone else. And that is exactly why I created My Virtual Mind, an AI coaching tool trained in my framework for connected leadership that helps you walk through, receive, perceive, and respond so that you can process situations and stay grounded instead of drained. Think of it like having a leadership coach whenever you need to work through something. If this sounds helpful, the link is in the description. Use it the next time something from work follows you home and see what shifts. Let me walk you through each step. And I want you to hold that Tuesday meeting scenario in your mind as we go. Receive is not passive. It is one of the most active things that you will ever do as a leader. Receive is a practice of pressing pause right at that climactic moment, not rushing to fix, not launching into problem solving, not defending, just taking in what is actually happening. In your Tuesday afternoon meeting, receive asks, what actually happened here? Not what it might mean, not what it could signal. What is factually, observably true? A team member expressed disagreement with a decision in a group setting. That is the event. Everything else is still a story. Receive is how you create the gap between what happened and what your nervous system tells you it means. And that gap, that is where your leadership lives. Perceive. This is where it gets honest. Perceive asks, how am I interpreting this? What assumption am I making right now? What past experience is quietly shaping what I think this moment means? Because here's what I know about high achievers. We are gifted meaning makers, which means we are also very good at building stories that feel like facts. Consider this. If you've spent your entire career being the person who figures it out, who always has the answer, or who does not need to ask twice, and the team member challenges you publicly, that story that rises might sound a little bit like, they don't trust me, or I'm losing authority, or even, I'm not cut out for this. That is the story. It's not the event. That story is your history dressed up as the present moment. And when we lead from that story, we're not leading from reality. We are leading from our past. Perceive is how you notice the difference, and noticing is critical. Okay, respond. This is where your power lives, not in the reaction, not in the silence that you hold at the expense of your own peace, in the intentional, aligned response. Respond asks, what is the most grounded action I can take right now? Sometimes the answer is a direct conversation. Sometimes it is a question asked with curiosity instead of correction. Sometimes it's a boundary, and sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. I know that can be hard when you're wired to fix, to solve, and to always have something to say. But here's what Dr. Daniel Goleman's research on emotional intelligence makes very clear. Nearly 90% of what separates exceptional leaders from average ones is not your IQ, not strategy, not years of experience. It is our ability to understand and manage ourselves while meaningfully connecting with others. That is emotional intelligence. And respond is where emotional intelligence shows up in real time, because responding from clarity is completely different than reacting from pressure. One is leadership and the other is just speed. Now, after you move through receive, perceive, respond, I want to give you one more resource. I call it the whatever technique. I know it sounds like something you'd say to end an argument with a sibling, but stay with me. After I've done the honest intake, examined the story I was telling myself, and chosen my most aligned response, I ask myself one final question. Is this actually within my control? If the answer is no, I say, whatever. And I need you to hear what I mean. This is not apathy. This is not checking out. Whatever in this context means, I see it, I acknowledge it, and I'm not choosing to let it drain me to someone else's bad morning that arrived in your inbox. Whatever. A comment rooted in someone else's unresolved stuff. Whatever. An outcome you prepared for, advocated for, and still didn't get it. Whatever. Not because those things don't matter, because handing your piece to things outside of your control is not leadership. It's energy leakage, and you need that energy. Your team needs that energy. Now, let me name something that's really important, because I know someone is thinking this. This is not about avoiding hard conversations. This is not about skipping accountability. Those things belong in your leadership fully. This is about discernment. There's a mindset that says, if I don't carry all of it, I'm failing. Connected leadership says, I know what is mine to carry and I know what's not. That distinction is not a weakness. That distinction is maturity. Leadership does not mean absorbing everyone else's chaos. Sometimes your greatest strength is holding space without holding the weight of everyone else's unresolved energy. Hold space without holding baggage. So here's your challenge for this week. The next time someone tries to knock you off your leadership game, before you absorb it, before you spiral, before you replay it at 11 p.m., pause, take a beat, and ask yourself, what did I actually receive? What story am I perceiving? And what is the most aligned response that I can give? And if after all of that, it still does not belong to you, say, whatever, and move forward. Because that's not weakness, that is discipline, and that is connected leadership. If this resonated with you, do me a favor, hit like and share this with a leader who needs it, and drop a comment below. I want to know, what is one thing you're choosing to say, whatever, to this week? And if you want to keep working through this with support, my virtual mind is waiting for you. It is my AI coaching tool trained in everything we talked about today, and it's available to you anytime you need it. The link is in the description. I look forward to supporting you enhance your connection to yourself so that you can elevate and expand for yourself and those you lead.